Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I thought I'd do a video today about helping yourself on the OCD recovery journey. So before I begin, and you'd like to use OCD Recovery's coaching services, please message phil@ocdrecovery.com and he'll get back to you as quick as he can. So yeah, I think on the recovery journey, as we move through OCD, as we work to get better, it's important that you help yourself in as many ways as you can. And I think there's a lot of ways in which we can really truly help ourselves and get on that path towards recovery that we're striving for, right? So I think the main one in terms of helping yourself on your recovery journey is taking responsibility and accountability for your own journey. It's your own journey, it's nobody else's. You don't need to compare your journey to other people's journeys. And a lot of us have obviously walked the OCD recovery journey, but your version is unique to you, and you need to take your own steps and your own measures to get to where you want to get to, right? So for example, you can't rely on others to get you to where you want to be. You can't rely on the OCD recovery coaches to help you out with that. They can guide you, yes, but at the end of the day, it's down to you to put the work in. You can't rely on family or friends to help you with compulsions or asking for reassurance. For example, when I avoided driving, I'd expect lifts everywhere from like my family and friends. I'd expect other people to cater for me just because I was suffering, and I thought that made me I thought that gave me that gave me allowances to sort of demand things from other people just because I was suffering. But it doesn't really work like that. I thought I was entitled to other people doing things for me, and like I couldn't stand it if I didn't have that. And another example, I don't know, you might have contamination OCD and you absolutely need your parents to ensure the house is super clean at all times, and you believe that they must meet your demands at all times. But instead of relying on them to help you, you really need to rely on yourself to get yourself out of the situation that you're in. And when you're the one asking for reassurance and the one asking for help with your compulsions, you can't blame them for helping you out because they want to help you. That's on you at the end of the day. If they're doing compulsions for you and you're still not getting better, that's down to you. So you don't need to use other people as a scapegoat because it's your own journey, right? So just be careful of that. Also, you need to show up every day. I know it sounds simple and easier said than done when we're really suffering, but when you have a good life structure, you're getting up, you're getting dressed, you're making your bed, you're exercising, eating a good diet, surrounding yourself with others, refraining from isolation, even if you feel completely disconnected and anxious. Maybe you've got relationship OCD, you want to avoid your partner. Maybe you've got harm OCD and you don't want to have really bad intrusive thoughts about family and friends. You're still going to have to lean into towards that discomfort and just try with all the grit and determination that you have just to live some sort of a normal life structure. You're going to have to try and get back to work, doing things when you don't feel like it. When you feel like absolute crap, you're going to just have to go towards that discomfort and live your life as best as you can. Another example is doing exposures now and not putting them off until next time, or making excuses not to do them, or waiting for a really good time to do your exposures. There's never going to be the right time to do exposures. You're going to have to take the leaps at times, and there's going to be no point in time where you want to get your life structure and your showing up every day back in check. Like, you're just going to have to take the leap, wear the discomfort, bring it with you, and really push through there. Also, being honest and fiercely realistic with yourself throughout the recovery journey. Don't try and kid yourself with OCD because it's not going to be full. Don't convince yourself that you're going to do one more compulsion and doing that's going to be harmless and won't impact your overall recovery. Just one more. The amount of times I've done that with HOCD, internal compulsions like forcing attraction, and outward physical compulsions, which is like sort of checking your sexuality. The amount of times I've thought those internal checking compulsions were harmless because they're really small and they're not like a big outward, compulsion or a big outward exposure. I didn't think they'd have like much of a difference, but trust me, they add up. You can't like kid yourself with even the smaller compulsions. So you need to be fiercely honest and realistic with yourself. You know, if you're doing those little compulsions, sometimes these happen on autopilot. Sometimes you don't even realize that you're actually doing them, but you need to just have that sort of holistic overview and be fiercely realistic with yourself in terms of how you're keeping your OCD cycle fueled up. Because yeah, like I just said there, the little compulsions do have a big impact as well. Another one I'd say is reading the books, but not just reading the books, you know, also doing the exercises in the book and thinking about, like, really, really deeply thinking about how you can apply the teachings, the learnings, and the exercises to your current thinking. You know, looking at your fears from several different angles when breaking it down. You know, you forcefully questioning the beliefs. So you might say, well, one of your beliefs that anxiety is 100% awful, and then you might forcefully, but not compulsively, forcefully dispute, you know, why is that anxiety so bad? You need to really sort of get into the nitty gritty of the beliefs and really question whether the beliefs that you're having right now can be upheld or maintained. Another example is, I must not be anxious. And you might say, well, why must I not be anxious? You know, is there really any evidence to support that? Likely not. If there was, then there'd be a universal law preventing everybody from getting anxious, but it doesn't really happen like that, you know. So you need to really work on your beliefs, work on the exercises in the books, and, you know, picking apart your fears from several different angles, you know, being a bit flexible with that, and yeah, just trying to look at it from as many different viewpoints as possible. And yeah, I'd also say, you know, just being quite sort of doing a lot of self-evaluating, not compulsively, but just being realistic with where you are on your journey, maybe what areas you're stuck in particular, and taking this onto your coaching calls if you're having them, you know, thinking about asking the right questions with regards to your fears, you know, not trying to get absolutely every detail right and get everything covered down right to the last minute detail, which is a bit compulsive, but, you know, just having to think about what areas you might especially be stuck in. You know, you can have a think about your OCD recovery journey as it is currently, and think maybe what areas you're lacking in. So, you know, is it in the reading? Is it in the disputing? Is it in the compulsions? Is it the avoidance behaviours? Is it the reassurance? Is it the venting, etc., etc.? So yeah, I think it's important to have an idea about what's happening in those regards. Another one as well, I'd say, is being patient with yourself. Patience and time along the recovery journey is your best friend, right? This stuff isn't easy, and, you know, putting unrealistic demands on yourself to be rid of OCD and to not be anxious is not helpful. You know, putting that pressure on your nervous system just to say, like, I must not be anxious. I must recover. You know, it's your body and mind are very, very tired at the end of the day, and, you know, it's not easy. So you need to just be a lot more patient with yourself, slow down a little bit. Yes, do work towards recovery, but, you know, it's got to be a gradual phased approach, bit by bit by bit. And in doing so, you need to have the compassion for yourself about the situation that you're in. I never really had compassion for myself for a long time, but when I really looked at, like, my beliefs and core fears and saw that I was a fallible human, then a fallible human with OCD as well, you actually sort of, as you move along the recovery journey, you gradually have that level of compassion and acceptance towards yourself in your current situation, which you know, takes the pressure off your nerves. And then just in doing so, while you're patient with yourself, like, don't put these rigid expectations upon when you need to be recovered, right? Because you don't need to be asking those questions. You'll know that when you're sort of moving towards that recovery, because you're not so concerned about, well, when am I going to recover? When am I going to recover? Because it wouldn't really matter if you did or not, because living with OCD or your symptoms or your core fears isn't as terrible as we think. So yep, time is definitely a factor in OCD recovery, and just taking your time with this, also whilst putting the work in, is really going to help you. And also as well, I'd say another one that I sort of come up with that you know, might be useful for you to hear is, I'd say, like, creating some necessity, not like from a compulsive standpoint, but, you know, we're on this rock in outer space, right, for this short period of time, right? We've likely got 80 years of life on this minute point in time, right, if that. And you know, we're in such a short period of time, we might as well go all in on recovery, right? And surrender, 2 years of the recovery process to enjoy the rest of our lives, which is much longer, and enjoy the newfound freedom that recovery will actually give us. I think like with this, like the time is going to pass anyway, right? So you might as well put in the recovery work and, reap the benefits that will come with that, higher energy, better family life, more happiness and contentment, perform better at work, better relationships, better sexual function, and better confidence. So there's so many incentives to recover and like put the work in. And then another way is necessity as well. So obviously when I came into OCD recovery coaching services, I was paying for the the webinars, coaching services, and I was investing my own money into that. And I thought, well, I'm not gonna like waste my hard-earned money and like not work towards recovery. So I guess it's like when you go to the gym on your own and you want to get in shape. I'm not saying that you can't get in shape on your own, but using that PT gives you that necessity because you want to get the best out of the service that you're paying for, right? So I really think just having that level of necessity, if you're struggling and you really need some motivation to recover, is definitely beneficial because it really helped me. So yeah, thanks guys, and I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.